Welcome to the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast, the place where we talk about getting businesses seen, remembered and chosen. I'm Joanne, a visibility specialist and friendly northerner, wife, mum and someone who's built 2 businesses from the ground up on nothing more than a wing and a prayer and sheer determination. I help independent businesses from around the world get found using honest, down-to-earth marketing grounded in real-life business experience. I believe that every business owner has a story to tell, and that story deserves to be at the very heart of their marketing. This podcast is for businesses of all kinds, whether you sell products or services, work locally or globally, are big or small, and you want to be found without relying solely on social media. Expect real stories, honest conversations, a good dose of northern humour, and simple visibility advice that will actually move the needle for your business. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to the Her Handmade Hustle podcast. Now today's episode is a little bit different and one I've been really looking forward to sharing with you. So I am chatting to Eileen Boydell. Now she is the wonderful founder of Wild and Worthy. And I met Eileen at a networking event where I was invited along to come and speak on a panel in front of lots of women who was attending this event. So, that was pretty wild for me. But I met her, she was in the audience, and then we had a chat afterwards. And I was immediately struck by her beautiful Irish accent that was dreamy. And I just thought that this woman was really interesting. She had something about her that I thought could teach me a thing or two. And so we met up for a coffee shortly after the event and we decided to record a podcast episode together. Now, this isn't a how to fix yourself episode. This conversation is about something that I see all the time with women, okay? Women, especially who have built businesses, families, careers, and whole lives around other people. It's about what happens when life takes over, when those roles pile up, when responsibility is the only thing that you seem to have on your mind. And suddenly, the woman who you were before all of that feels a bit distant, or like she's just been packed away and sent off somewhere. So Eileen and I are talking honestly about these major life changes that shift our identity, things like motherhood, perimenopause, menopause, divorce, and what it feels like when the old you starts knocking on the door again. Now, like I said, I didn't want this to be a preachy conversation. I wanted it to be rooted in real life. And we're talking about these moments where you realise that actually you've been holding back, especially when it comes to being seen in life and in business. So if you've ever felt like you've just gone a bit quiet, maybe, even though you've got more in you, then I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. Let's get into it. Good morning, Eileen.
Hello.
It's lovely to see you. We are on a video call podcast for a change. Normally I just do audio only because I haven't done my hair or my makeup. But today it's nice.
You look great, yeah.
Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
So Eileen, Wild and Worthy. These are 2 words that I think applies to every female on this planet. So tell us a little bit about yourself. So you are the founder of Wild and Worthy.
Right. How long have you got? About just over 5 years ago, kind of pandemic lockdown-ish, split up from my husband, got 2 kids together, and it just really triggered a whole rebirth of ideas and refocus back on myself, and so discovered a little bit of spirituality, ran a marathon in 2021, was never planning on doing that. Listening to loads of podcasts, reading so much just about ourselves, our souls, just doing a massive discovery, but thinking I'm not going to be defined by this, but I'm like, I've got to make something from this. So Wild and Worthy has come about from mainly, for women who have reached a stage of life, they're starting to think, actually, who am I underneath all these layers I've put on as a mother, as a partner, wife, whatever? as a coming back to yourself, really, that wildness, that embracing who you are. But that worthy piece was important for me in the name of it too, because for me, I used to attach my worth to things external to me, not realizing doing the work on you is really important.
Yeah, and do you know what you just said then about coming back to who you were? It's so important because as women, we just forget and we lose exactly who we are because we do put our kids first and our partners first. And then before you know it, you're in your 40s, 50s, and you're like, what have I done for me? And I think it's such a transitional time for a woman when they actually start to think, right, what is it that I wanted out of my life? Because time's ticking and we ain't going to be here forever. So it's time to do something about it. And I think, again, some of the people that listen to this podcast will be feeling like this because they might be trying to start a business or they might have a business, but they're juggling everything else as well. So it's giving yourself that permission to say, yeah, I'm worthy and I should be doing this. And I think we find that hard as women, don't we, to say those words.
Totally, because whether we are in a relationship, not in a relationship, have kids, whatever, I think there is that sense of, with women, you do reach midlife and go, actually, as much as I love my family and all, I am not on this earth to just stand doing dishes and washing clothes. And, it's using that resentment you get sometimes with it to kind of, right, how can I flip this? Don't get me wrong, I don't think I'll ever love it, but you learn to live with it.
Yeah.
But it's that I'm so much more than this, and the roles we play in society, when you do have children, etc., the woman does fall into that nurturing role, which I didn't mind doing. I wouldn't have had it any other way. There's a price of an identity shift, but something happens around this age group. And some of the stuff that I read about perimenopause, menopause, we've been sold a pop about women getting older. This is coming into their ultimate wisdom. People can age in whatever way they like, but there's nothing, this barren BS that you get. It's a wonderful renewal that people are coming into. And I think that's where the wisdom comes from women. We need that recognition too, I think.
We do, and I think it's so true what you said then about this transitional period in our lives as women, in your 40s and 50s. You are viewed as like, oh God, they're approaching perimenopause, menopause, all these changes are going on and they're going to be, say, barren and miserable and shriveled up and all that lot. It makes you feel like you're coming to the end of your life and it's awful.
Yeah.
It's the complete opposite. And I know that a lot of women feel that actually they found themselves again at this age. And, I was reading something that said the average entrepreneur is like 45 years old now, female entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's the age when you're actually the most successful in business. So people who think that they've not made it or they're worried about, everything that they've put before themselves, like their kids and their partner, that it's too late for them. Well, it's not. And this is a great chapter of our lives now, I think. To embrace the fact that this is us and this is who we are. And it's remembering who you were as a child. Even we were talking about this, I think, when we met up in coffee shop, weren't we, that what is it that we used to enjoy, that what is it that makes you Joanne and makes you Eileen, like forgetting about everything else that you've been through.
Yeah, totally. And not learning to try and not intellectualize it. I think our biggest task is to get out of our heads sometimes. Don't try and put logic on things that sometimes you're like, I don't know why, but I've got an urge to do. Just learning to follow that, listen to the intuition more. And I think, like you say, there's a wonderful opportunity now for women. We're living for longer. We're getting healthier. There's so much more opportunities. It's a great time to embrace it, really.
I love this. This is such a positive chat because sometimes, like, it's Monday morning right now while we're recording this, and sometimes after the weekend, I'm absolutely beaten into the ground from.
I'll be honest. I didn't arrive feeling that. I was like, I'm still tired, and this was a quiet weekend.
That was it, exactly.
Quietish, I must say.
It's good, isn't it? And say, obviously you're doing it on your own as well now. How old are your boys then?
So my eldest boy's 17, he's at college now, and my youngest is 11, he's in his last year in primary. So there is a sense that, and I know he's still wee babyish, kind of, he's a wee darling, but he is going to be in high school from September, and his brother. So there is a sense now of this, be careful what you wish for, that my kids are getting older, and so I'm getting that time back, as well. It's like, yeah.
That's true. At the minute, I'm in the thick of it. My daughter's 6, and I'm like, God, by Monday morning, I'm rocking in a corner after the weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is quite intense, but I can see how things change, and and you do get that time back, and you probably do miss it. Going back to before Wild and Worthy, before you started it, and you were perhaps in the thick of your marriage, you've got your young children. Were there parts of you that you found were sort of getting quieter, more slowly, maybe as life got busier and you had so much going on? Did you feel yourself like losing a sense of yourself? Because I think a lot of women can feel
100%.
that.
Yeah, when you hear that expression, "Are you betraying yourself?" It's like going along with, nobody's forcing you to do, but you're going with situations where you feel, actually, I don't really want to do that, but I'll do it because it feels like the right thing to do. I have this wonderful opportunity now, being currently single, so I get the best of both worlds. I get every other weekend to myself, but have that lovely time with my kids as well. But you really have to start considering yourself and where am I in this? And sometimes we can be guilty of subsuming our whole identity based on what we've seen, perhaps copying relationships from parents, grandparents. Oh, well, that's what you do. You're a couple, you do everything together. But no, you're forgetting, actually, that's not me. Or it's just holding on to that sense of yourself. Some things then can just awaken you again, go, actually, who am I underneath all this?
Yeah, and I just noticed you've got a jumper on. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, Eileen has a jumper on that says "We'll travel for disco." It's so cool. But obviously, you love dancing, and you've always loved dancing, haven't you? That's just
Yeah,
something that was in you. And are you doing more of that now?
I'm doing more of that. So yeah, it's like past few years been really redoing it again, going to festivals, nights out, friends in that scene, having a really, really good laugh doing it. And dancing aspect, I realized actually it's such a big part of it's in our DNA. It's like music. We've got to dance. It used to be such a tribal thing in the past, community based. I love that kind of, they talk about this liminal space on the dance floor where everybody's identity dissolves. We're all there, but there's a real powerful energy on when you're in a really good night out, and those vibes shared with people, and it's our body holds trauma, etc. It's just shaking it all off. So yeah, so much so love and dance that I'm almost finished a somatic movement course that I'm hoping to start doing sessions and classes in that too, because it's such our bodies, our vessels, that there's so much that we can do with them. So yeah, dance has become a huge thing.
So what is a somatic movement? Like, what would it involve, a class, for
So
example?
that's it. You hear these terms, don't you? Like somatic movement and body, and you're like, what do they mean? So embodiment relating to the body, somatic movements in the body. A typical session would involve starting with something like, a grounding exercise, just getting into that space of your body, almost a meditative state. And then there would be some elements of, you might do a little bit of shaking, let's flick things out of the body, listen to music, and then certain guided dances, like certain pieces of music. And what I really find about it, and what I actually love about some of the ones I've facilitated in recent weeks, is that you think, okay, it's like a class, like a dance or a music or whatever class that you're going. But it was the surprising part that I took away was like, wow, I feel so touched. Like this isn't about me instructing them. It's a co-creation. I could feel their energy. It was beautiful. It was really quite touching. And you share this gorgeous space because you go into this very, very deep meditative state where you kind of, when you get to that, like, you don't have thoughts, you're not stressed. It's this beautiful kind of channel to the divine. In my view, it's like, wow, this isn't me, this is us, like, bringing through this gorgeous universal love, whatever.
I can't imagine feeling like that now. Like, I would love to feel like that. I think I'd struggle at first, getting into that zone. And I guess a lot of women may feel a bit at first nervous or shy or silly dancing around and stuff. But actually, once you're in the zone, if you can get to that point where you're just enjoying yourself, then I guess it just comes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like they talk about things like a flow state. So, and you're right, it's just getting people out of their head. If you could just try it, just open your mind. And I think it's generally people with a more open mind will do it. But, it's like, just come and give it a go. We see your bodies. I think we just take them for granted. This thing, we just move around in and out. But really, really getting in your body, that's what embodiment's about, and treating it with the kind of love and attention it needs, and not expecting it to be just this meat suit that carries us around. But there's so much, like, our bodies carry so much, and we have to try and release them. And as you know, our minds are the worst at times. Freeing ourselves from that through the body is just beautiful.
That's such a lovely way to put it, because I think that's it. I know for me particularly, I struggle with all the thoughts, and I overthink a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't move probably as much as I should, because I'm sat down all day like a lot of people do my job.
Mm.
But sometimes when my daughter Eden, when she gets in from school, and we might put like a song on. She likes into this K-pop Demon Hunters, like the world is at the moment. And we put those songs on, and we just dance. And at first I felt a bit silly. I was like, God, I'm a 42-year-old here dancing to Soda Pop and all these songs that are on there. But honestly, afterwards, 20 minutes later, I felt like I was 18 again, back on the dance floor in Tiger in Manchester, when, me and my sister used to go out every weekend, and we had such a good time, and there were such happy days. And it's just connecting to that part of yourself, isn't it? But not feeling silly or not feeling guilty about it, just doing it and stop overthinking.
Totally. And the way kids, before they start to become self-conscious, because they say, I think it's after they're about 7, they've started to cotton on to, okay, these are my role models. But that freedom, kids that don't care and dance around, the ones that, it's like that energy before we've been told, oh, you've got to, not do this. And also realizing that, a dance and movement and that fun doesn't have to just be saved for the rare time or whenever people go out there. There's a way of doing it. You're trying to get it into your life generally. It's for all age groups. For example, at my birthday party recently was beautiful celebration. Friends and family were there with this brilliant bar in town in Manchester, and my friends who are DJs were playing. But unexpected surprises on that night, because my family, especially my mum and dad and my kids, were there for a little while. But just seeing them on the dance floor, just those little moments to see how it's like so through the generations of people are just free. And it was lovely to see my kids, especially because I think boys, I feel bad for boys in the sense that, you girls will often go to dance classes or music classes. That seems to be really diluted for boys, that creativity in our society too, which really frustrates me. Oh, get their hair cut short, let them be whatever they like, and so girls have that chance for that outlet, and I think boys will toe the line, oh, we'll just do sports because that's what our mates do. So seeing my kids too out dancing and all as well was just like, oh, cute.
That is so nice. And you just reminded me of a story which I'll just tell you briefly, but it's basically a few weeks ago we went to Blackpool between Christmas and New Year, that was it. And we met my sister there with her 3 children. And we went to Blackpool Tower, where the ballroom is. From Strictly Come Dancing. So we said, we'll go and see it. So we went in, and then we sat on the balcony, and we were watching all the couples dancing. It was like a Sunday afternoon, and all the men were dressed up in their suits and their ties, and the ladies had these gorgeous shoes on and dresses, and they were just doing all these routines. And the kids were fixated, like they were all just watching this movement around the floor, and it was magical. So, and then my sister, she said to her oldest boy, who's 12, she said to him, would you like to have a dance with me? And at first he was a bit like, I'm not sure. So we went down to the floor, and the next minute they were on there, and they were dancing. And it was lovely to see. And even my sister Emma said, to have him as a boy doing that with me at 12 years old was amazing. So then the younger one, who's 6, he then said to me, oh, will you dance with me? So I was like, okay then. So then next minute I'm on the floor with him, and I could see my sister and her son, then me and my nephew, and we're doing the barn dance. And I've not done that for years. And it just felt so good to be on that floor dancing. And we came off and we said, that was so much fun. Like this release that we had, just dancing was wonderful. So yeah, I totally get it. And to see the boys doing it as well.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's great. It's so good. You're just uplifted, aren't you? It's that same gorgeous feeling you get when they say people like singing in choirs and stuff together. That, like, because there's a real collective energy of, it's just uplifting. It's beautiful.
There was this lady, we were laughing about her because we were not in a bad way, but we were thinking good on you. But basically, this lady, she must have been, I don't know, in her 80s, and she was on her own. Her son had brought her to the Blackpool Ballroom, but every song that came on, she got up to dance on her own. And she was like head to toe in like this woolly hat, trainers and socks on, a skirt, and every single song she got onto the dance floor, and she was just there on her own, just jiving away. And
Yeah.
someone came up to try and dance with her, and she was like, "No, I don't need anybody." It was so funny.
Fair
But
play.
she knew,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she was going for it. It was brilliant. Loved watching it. Well, dancing is something that I also enjoy as well, and hope to come back to as part of myself in the future when I've got more time and I'm not as knackered as I am now.
And do you know what? Like little tips are just getting up and just sticking a tune on and just losing yourself for 3 minutes, whatever it takes. It just gets you out of your head and your body. It's lovely.
Do you think that might work for people listening who may be having like creative blocks, or they might be feeling a bit stuck in the day with their work, and put the kettle on while the kettle's boiling,
Mm,
it takes 3 minutes, get a song on at the same time, and
definitely.
might
You
really
know,
help you.
it's yeah, it's you're getting out of your head, you're getting into your body, music, that uplifting aspect. It's like, even when you go for a nice walk or whatever you like, it's just so calming and everything. But there's a release. We need to release. We're not designed to sit like this all day, are we?
We're not exactly, and then that brings it back to like the wild of Wild and Worthy as
Mm,
well, and talking about women who can just let themselves go now. So we
mm,
are at an age where we shouldn't feel like we have to hide anymore. I'm probably more confident now in my 40s than I was in any other decade, I reckon,
mm,
in certain ways, in most ways,
mhm,
I'd say. But I don't know how
mm.
you feel about that. Do you think?
No, I agree with you. Actually, I look back and like I was younger, and I'm like, what was wrong with you? Why were you going on? Don't take a photograph and all. When you see old pictures,
Mhm.
there was nothing wrong, but you were so caught up in your head, so much of question things. It's still a battle to get out of your head, isn't it? But they joke about, especially women when they get older, you care less
Yeah, you
what
just don't give a
people
shit
think.
now, do you? Really,
Yeah.
basically.
I was at something last year and they were all, I bet you're great at doing that. And I was like, I don't overthink things. I'll just get it. Like, you just get up and do it.
Yeah.
And I suppose that is a form of confidence, but it's a difference. It's not arrogance. It's not going, I'm wonderful. And so it
No.
made me laugh to think it was this charity fashion show and they were just looking for real life models last year. But some of the girls, because I was chatting to them before the event, and they were, I bet you're dead confident up there. And I was like, isn't that so funny? Because
Mm.
I was confident with them, but I wasn't all full myself when I was up there. And in fact, I wasn't one of the best ones walking up and down the catwalk. But I think I just don't care less. I'll just deliver and just be in the moment as much as
Brilliant.
I can.
Good on you. That's well good. Did a fashion show. Like that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, but it's like I say, when I look back, I was like, oh, you weren't really like. I definitely wasn't all let's strut with the outfits on. It's not me, but it was good fun. It was just
Would you
something different.
would you have done it 10 years ago?
Probably not.
It's funny, isn't it? I always think that. Would I have done that 10 years ago? No, probably not.
No, I think you're right. And I think the difference is I probably would have apportioned, which would be all in my head, too much of it. Oh, people are going to think who cares what people think? I mean,
Exactly.
they don't think who do you think they are. They know there's just someone having that. And even if they do, it's, as they say, it's not my business. They can think what they like.
I know, and that's their responsibility. Like I said to myself a couple
Yeah.
of years ago that I'm refusing now to take on the way that other people feel. Like that is not
Mm.
me, how they feel. So that's their issues. So if they don't like anything,
Totally. And something I've learned, you sometimes wonder too, is how much of this is a story I've created in my own, what narrative have I made up about?
yeah, it's so true, isn't it? Absolutely. And I think we
Mm.
just do that. We just overthink things as women. So obviously, the word worthy, I mean, it's such a strong word, isn't it? And it's one that a lot of us we don't
Mm.
attribute to ourselves, and
Yes.
should, because we are worthy. I think that every single female on this planet is very strong. The things that we deal with day in, day out, and that we cope with. I mean, what does the word worthy mean to you now?
You're right. It's a little bit of a loaded one, worthy, because it means different things to people.
Yeah.
I think it's a couple of things really. It's firstly that bit about society, when you're brought up, and I think it's just the way our school system and work is run
Mhm.
that, you are your worth based on how well you perform and blah blah. So I played that game of, yeah, I'll do well and I worked hard at school and I'll do well and I'll get me good grades and blah blah blah. So I'm like, this isn't really me, but fine. And then I even thought, like, when I was younger, and even in a sense for a while in my like marriage and stuff, okay, my worth is related to who I'm with. And, I must be worthy because somebody wants to be with me and stuff. And I've really had to do the work in that in the past few years, even. And I feel like that's sometimes something that we think that unless someone has said you're great at doing that, or you're in a relationship, that we feel that we're not worthy on our own. But it's that kind of coming back to you, that wholeness that they talk about, like you're whole and complete without anyone else or without any accolades or without what. And we can let stories hang over, can't we? That somebody or an old teacher might have said something or blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, we've got to shake that and get back in our belief firm that, yeah, we are worthy on our own. We don't need anyone else or anything else.
That is so true. I like the fact that you said that it starts from an early age where you are judged by how well you do at school. Because the first thing people ask you when you go for a job when you leave school, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your exam marks? Like, it's not like, who are you as a person and
Yeah.
what are your natural talents? What are you good at? It's like, well, what grade did you get? And to judge somebody by
Yeah.
that, I always found that really hard to get my head around as well. But then, yeah, going from that in an education system to then relationships and defining yourself by who you're with and you must be worthy because you have this and that, it's very difficult to bring ourselves back to the real meaning of worthy, isn't it? And think, yeah, it is me on my own as I am without all of those things.
Yes. Yeah, you're so right. And I feel bad for kids these days that
Yeah.
they are still like academic prowess, if you like, is still rated like high. And I'm like, but there's so much more that these kids are than, they're creative souls.
And I think with business owners particularly, we are judging our worth by how many likes we get on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew you
Yeah,
were going to say that. It's
yeah,
mad, isn't it?
it's mad.
It's
And I think it's not right. Like, we need to be thinking, okay, why are we judging our success on
mm,
these metrics? Basically, that it's like reinforcement for the way that we're feeling. If somebody likes our posts and somebody
mm.
engages with us, then great, we must be doing a good job, we must be worthy. But no, it's not all about that. It really frustrates me when it comes down to these things that people are thinking about when you run a business. It's not about popularity like that. You don't have to have 3,000 followers on Instagram to be successful.
Yeah, totally, totally. And it's like we didn't grow up with that, but we've got that era now, haven't we?
Yeah.
And it's thinking to yourself, you have to, and especially as you know, probably Joanne, when you're launching a business or you've more a public face, it takes a little while of you've got to like embrace that fact. Okay, that if you're going to be yourself, there is a bit of cringe here that people, who she
Exactly.
thinks she is, or it takes a bit of time to sort of get over that
Yes.
and not do things as well, like you say, for oh, well, let's get more likes or whatever. There's some of the stuff like that does best for me is where I don't care or I don't attach anything to the outcome of it. I'm
Mm.
like, okay. And like life, like anything, sometimes things do really, you're like, wow, I don't even know what I did there. But,
Mm.
and I'm not saying that means it was good. It's just external validation again, isn't it? But it's like,
Yeah.
we have to just, you're right. It's almost just get a little bit of a protective shield on and go, look, you're still worthy despite all this. And if you get no likes, if you're judging stuff about it, don't worry. That doesn't mean you have to pull it all. I've pulled back stories and posts and everything on my personal and business one for overthinking. It's weird. It's
Definitely.
just being able to just let go of that and not feel it is important.
Absolutely, I think it's such an important one because it can be quite disheartening for people because that's building their their own kind of vision of what's successful. These
Yeah.
social media platforms, and actually doesn't define you. It should
No.
be there. They serve a purpose, and that is for branding and getting the name out there about you. They obviously are important, but they mustn't make you feel like you're not worthy.
No.
If you are not looking as successful as somebody else. I mean, God, my husband spends his days trawling on YouTube and Instagram. He's watching like the shittest videos, honestly. He's watching like cats chasing chickens, or he watched one the other day, right, of this woman, this AI. It wasn't even real. A woman stood outside Greg's eating a pasty, and then this sign hit her in the face. And I'm not kidding you, he was laughing from the minute he woke up when he watched it till the minute
I
he went to bed. That was
I think I've
hilarious.
seen that as quite big lady, is
Yeah,
it?
you seen it?
And is that
I was driving to the coffee shop, and I said to him, "What are you laughing at, Dave?" And he was like, "Oh my God, you've got to see this." And he showed me, and all right, it was funny, but it wasn't like kill yourself, like fall over laughing all day funny. I thought, people are watching, this is, and then you're comparing yourself as a serious business owner to these forms of
see that?
entertainment. You're thinking, well, why have they got 2 million likes and I haven't? Well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's the deal.
I know, I know. I don't know whether as well there is something in the meme culture. It becomes a form of
Yeah.
escapism too, isn't it?
It does completely. I know, and I couldn't punish him for it, but I was just like, "Come on, Dave! You've been laughing at this now for like 12 hours. Get in the game." So funny, isn't it? So, I mean, obviously, we've talked a lot about with women feeling lost and trying to get back to themselves and stuff.
Mm.
Is there any advice that you can give people who may be feeling a little bit lost right now? Obviously, we don't know people's situations, but maybe they're going through some kind of grief, whether it's a divorce or, losses, anything like that. A lot of people turn to creativity to help them through those times as well. Yeah, and I was just wondering if there's anything that you could help people listening with today to, maybe get them to rediscover themselves again.
Yeah, I would say definitely it's about following that joy, isn't it? Following what lights you up that much, but also not. Sometimes it's random. Like I've found, like try not to put logic on it. Sometimes you might get an idea to do something. Maybe don't always share that with friends. Just try that thing. Do that thing in your own. Do what if something's calling to you, it's for a reason, and I've sometimes hear people like a girl I know going, "Oh yeah, I used to be good at crafting and all." Just do it if that's what's calling to you. Don't compromise it because you've got kids and a family. You've come so conditioned into thinking that you don't know what's right for you. So it's like trying to hear that inner voice that's going sometimes. Just do that thing. And the times I've ignored my intuition, I kick myself. But the times that I've listened and it's turned out really unexpectedly good, I'm like, yeah. So just following that and don't get into your head too much. I think once we start telling other people too much or trying to, oh, well, that's not going to work, and well, it won't work. But just follow it, and if you hear it more than once, it's there. Those nudges, you need to listen out for them because you don't know where they're going to lead. And they mightn't lead anywhere, but just follow. It's like those little steps can lead to something really magical and unexpected.
Yeah, and it's also about, I think, what you said then, it's starting because it might not be where you end up, but you've started. So you might need to go on that journey and that path to figure out what it is that you're where
Yes.
you're meant to be. So, I started out even with Her Handmade Hustle 3 years ago nearly now, doing something completely different to what I'm doing now. And now it's very much more about marketing. It's about helping people tell their story.
Mm.
It's about, doing things for them with their business that takes the pressure off them. So, it's different as to what I thought it was going to be, working with
Yeah.
different people as well. And for a long time, you said something that resonated with me actually. I didn't really know what direction I was going in. I felt really lost. And I was like, what am I doing? Who am I anymore? Like I used to make wedding stationery before I was a mum. I would have quite an active social life. We would go on holiday a lot. And now it's the complete opposite. My daughter struggles with anxiety. We're in a lot. We don't do lots of different exciting things we used to do. My business has changed direction. I don't create as much anymore. So there's a big transition here for me as well, I reckon, in my 40s. And I think just talking to you has made me realise that it is more of like a rebirth rather than thinking that it's
Mm.
not a bad thing. Like this is a good thing now that, yes, I've changed. We all change due to everything that we go through. But it's not a bad thing. It's just a different phase of our lives. And it's embracing that and going, that's okay.
Definitely, I totally agree with that. And that sense that, and I'm really guilty of this, I'm getting better at it, but where you feel that you have to have it all figured out and you almost plan every avenue and you want it to perfection, but you don't realize that until you start trying different things like I've been doing more recently, that you're like, I won't learn not only what works, what doesn't, but what I like and what I don't until I do it. And then as you say that doing that thing might accidentally lead into something else. You don't know until we feel that we have to have it all figured out, but I think it's that letting go, that surrendering the reins. We don't know what way life's going to go, and just accepting that, stop trying to control it so much, and just, I'm guilty of that sometimes, like, where am I going to be in this time, and blah, blah, blah. And we don't know.
Yeah, we're searching for that security, aren't we? As
Mm.
human beings, that's what we want. But
Yeah.
actually, why don't we trust a little bit more in the universe? That's what I always try and think. And I'll get
Yeah.
the direction that I'm meant to go. And so far, touch wood, it's happening.
Totally. And I saw a lovely meme about that a while ago where, like, there's this, it says God. And I mean, God to me is whatever your God is, your universe, whatever. But it's man. And he's got like a massive bunch of flowers behind him. And the little girl or something's reaching out as if, I really want this small bunch of flowers. And the caption was something along the lines, but you don't know what God or the universe has in store for you. So stop thinking that this is the thing, because if you can relax and let go, look at what you could have.
I love that. That is so nice, isn't it? It really is. It's very, very true. Stop always trying to predict it. Just wait and see what's in store for you.
What's coming? Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. So when you work with people, what is sort of thing can people get from you?
So yeah, I'm focusing more on events. For example, once a month, starting to do like an on networking vibe. It's a free event, just people come along, like myself, like who work from home or either work for themselves or just want to get, sick of the same four walls, want to go and meet people. That's something I've started to do. I've got an event at the same place next month where it's tarot and print night, it's called. So you can cut your own tarot cards as well as get a little bit of a reading. So it's that sort of wellnessy spiritual vibe. And I know some people are really interested in that. And then got another good idea about a nighttime event, which I think is going to really work as well. So at the moment, it's branching more into that event curation. However, I am looking at, once I finish my training now for the somatic movement embodiment, I want to keep the momentum going with that. So I'm just looking at different avenues to host a class in the studio regularly. And I don't know where that'll lead. Well, that'll be online, nothing, just a creative outlet. So it's more group work, but it's certainly, if anybody wants one-to-one, I'm still open to doing that one-to-one coaching. I
think I'm going to try and get to one of your events. This is on my goal in
the
the next
great.
months, because I'm really interested in the tarot one.
Yes.
It looks ace. It looks so good.
Something current we're looking to solve in our lives, and it's that I think you can get some lovely viewpoints from other people, where people might go, but do you not realize from what you're saying you're good at this, or things you don't know about yourself. So I think it'll be a lovely opportunity to kind of for everyone to walk away with something as well.
I always say you never know who you're going to meet. Like, you might turn up to something and think, well, there's going to be no one in that room for me, but you don't know who they know.
No.
I think it's a lovely sort of surprise when you do get talking to someone and they go, actually, that's something that I really need, or I know somebody that you could really help. And I'm a great believer in meeting people and just talking. And that's how I've built my businesses up as well, just by meeting different people.
Yes. Totally. And like you said, like meeting you at that event, I never knew we'd end up doing this, or you think something's going to work in a certain way, or life will just throw you some lovely mysteries when you've no expectation. So just try not to think about any of it will happen and just turn up.
It's so true.
Yeah.
But yes, it's been so nice talking to you. I could talk to you all day because I love listening to your accent. What part of Ireland are you from?
I'm from Derry. You're lovely to chat to too, though, Joe. Like your questions and all, and even like before, whether you sent me some, and I was like, God, she's such a good journalist. Like,
you mentioned this when we had a coffee, didn't you? You said,
yeah. I bet you're so, like, we were just saying, we were like, we could channel. It's lovely. And yes, I'm from Derry, Northwest, which is like right in the border in Northern Ireland.
Oh, I just love listening to your voice. It's so nice and relaxing. And we have a lot of listeners in America as well who listen to the podcast, so I'm sure they'll enjoy it and appreciate your accent.
Oh, I hope so.
But I think you're such an inspiration. You're such a strong woman. You're the sort of person that I want to have on the podcast, because when I started this, it was always about women who have been through something difficult, who have got a story to share that proves that you can still be you can be successful, you can follow your dreams still, no matter what you've been through. And you have been through a lot. A divorce is the same as grieving, isn't it? When it's a loss of a relationship. And I can't imagine what that feels like. So I think the fact that you've got 2 boys as well and you're doing it all on your own, like hats off to you, I tell you, because it must be bloody hard.
Yeah. I mean, it works out good, but there is a real sense of grappling with this new sense of identity. Because yeah, you're right. When you're married, you're part of this identity. You've got friends together, all that, and it's a new part of identity. But there is this real push pull of okay, I love these children and we want to make life work, but then this freedom back in them too. So it's like managing all that kind of flux between feeling like needing to feel grounded, but as well as wanting that beautiful freedom that comes as well. So yeah, there is an element of digging deep and working out where am I going with my life, you know.
Yeah, well, I think you're doing absolutely amazing. So if people wanted to get in touch with you, what is the best way for them to do that?
So if they're on Instagram, it's at wild and like at wild and worthy. My website still is soulsource.world with my old coaching website. I do need to kind of rebrand that to the more the wild and worthy. So the soulsource.world.
Yeah, and if you are local and people are based around the Manchester area,
Exactly.
come along to one of Ali's events because I might be there as well. So that would be really good if we could
That'd
go.
be fab. It'd be great to have you there.
I will put a link to your Instagram and your events are on there, isn't it? On there, so I'll put
Yeah.
them in the show notes of this episode. So if anybody wants to go and have
Thank
a
you so
look, in
much.
case you are local and you want to pop along, I say it would be really great to come and see you. But thank you for joining me today. I've really enjoyed our chat, as I did when we went for our coffee. Say we could have stayed all day, couldn't we?
I know. I honestly, it's just gone. I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, wow, well, that's like nearly an hour, and it's been lovely. It's been
so
such a
nice.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on, and yes, hopefully we will meet up again soon.
Definitely. Oh,
Right,
thank you
care,
so much,
Eileen.
Joanne. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye
bye
bye.
for now. Bye. So I really loved that conversation with Eileen, and hasn't she just got the most dreamy Irish accent? I could listen to it all day. But I think what stayed with me is that feeling of realising that you haven't lost yourself. You know, you've just been busy. We're busy surviving. We're busy being needed. Busy doing the right thing for everybody else but ourselves. And I think so many women listening will recognise that, especially if you're running a business alongside life, kids, relationships, all of it. And what I found really interesting is how much this actually links back to visibility, because when you're not fully backing yourself, you can feel it in how you show up. You know, you hesitate, you second guess, you sit on posts for days and then you don't share them at all. You soften the message. You send a quote to a customer with a price in it, and then at the end you say, "Oh, I hope that's okay." And it's not because you don't know what to say or what you're doing, it's because being seen feels vulnerable. Being wild and worthy for me, it's not about being louder or more confident overnight. That's not me either. But it's about trusting yourself enough to take up a bit more space. You know, get yourself out there even when it feels uncomfortable. So if this episode has made you think about who you are now, or maybe where you might be holding back, then that is not a bad thing. It's usually the nudge that you need, okay? So if you're at a point where you know you want to be more visible in your business, but you're not sure how to do it without feeling fake or forced, then that's exactly what I do. There'll be links in the show notes if you want to have a look. Of course, no pressure. I'm there if you need me. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll speak to you next time. If today's episode has made you realise that visibility might be about more than just posting and hoping for the best, you are not alone. This is exactly the kind of thing I help independent businesses with, getting clearer on their story, their services, and how they actually show up online, especially on Google. If you want support that's honest, simple, and rooted in real life business experience, I'm here. Visit my website, herhandmadehustle.co.uk, to see how we could work together. And if this episode helped you, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And don't forget to share it with someone else today who you think would enjoy it too. Thank you, and see you next time.